Dookie 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 dookie. Shush now, you lung saver. Hey, Stamper, Crazy J, Kyle. Yes, it looks like everyone's stuck around, eh? Stuck around like desperate little fans. Very good. And that's what you get for it. You get a nice loud sneeze in your headphones. Oh my goodness. I did mowing this afternoon and I haven't taken an antihistamine because I'm worried that the antihistamines are actually beating the hell out of my liver. But, so I abstained from the antihistamine. Oh my goodness, it's rough. it's painful. I'm going to take that BIOS off, put the original one back on. So this we're back to square one. Not a fan, just a believer. Alright, yeah. Oh please, coronavirus. Yeah, indeed. Dinner was fried rice, homemade fried rice. It's all very good. The essential ingredient with that, of course, is a good supply of rice bran oil and rice. All good, Paul. All good. I just noticed something. Let me just fix this up. Right, yeah, that's better. So I'm going to go back to my theory that there's a short on this somewhere. And the way I'm just going to have to go through the rails and have a look, see what's shorted. I could be wrong, but I'm going by the idea of the fact that when I turn on the power supply, I can see it take a spike, or it was taking a spike, and then shut down. To be fair, it could be just a case of misdirection. Rescue, no, I haven't gotten any further with that other board, the intermittent boot one. I think I can't remember if I put it through the ultrasonic or not though. I'll have to have a look. I got blah 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 blah. I got a bit lost track of a few things today. Looked at the power supply, was the multicom? Yes, Wayne, that's the one, 17th of April. They've got a stack of 50 coming in. And I think I might have been the first person to buy one because it was saying 50 and then I put in my order and now it's saying 49. So I've got high hopes that it will be a good power supply, because I really do want to have on-screen display for YouTubing and also for when I'm just recording my own work. Because when I do these jobs during the day, when I'm not live streaming, I actually do... oh, far out. I make mistakes like this. I record everything. Now 46. Oh, okay. People are jumping on board. Glad I got in when I did. Did you just buy another 3? Agreeably, it's not a dual output or triple output, but I'm happy with single output for this sort of work. I've got a triple output sitting under the bench just rotting, and then I don't think I'll put the triple output back up on the bench anytime soon, so I'll have to find a place to put it. The main trouble with the triple output one that I got is that it's only up to 3 amps, and 3 amps doesn't really get you what you want when it comes to MacBook repairs. Do I comment when I record my own? Yes, I do actually. I make various remarks, swear occasionally. Mostly it's sort of more like what you'd expect to hear from an autopsy report or something like that. My Crest Ultrasonic do not come with a bus or anything I can use besides buying the original. You could probably put something... I'm sure you could probably find a metal basket with rubber feet on it, or put some rubber feet on it. I'm just checking this chip here, because this can make the PCH decide not to play ball. It's actually extraordinarily hard to get this chip off, and that looks pretty damn good to me. Damn it, why'd you have to be all okay? Yep, you look fine. Damn it. Yeah, Wayne, well that's what I've got. I've got the Tenma as well. And, you know, they do the job for sure. But yeah, completely useless on the data side. I was quite disappointed because I put a moderate amount of effort into writing the code, and then I just couldn't get a decent update rate on it. And that's when I realized it was just taking forever for it to do the response. And because my code was waiting for the response. But certainly when those Tenma ones, well, whatever the heck the real generic internal brand is for that whole series, because I see them come out as under many different names. Yeah, come on, let's press that down a bit better. I really don't know why they made such a bad job of the data interface on those. I have contemplated actually taking the board out and putting my own in there, but then I thought, this, you know, when I saw the multi-comp for $250, $260, I thought, nah, it's just not worth it. You may as well just buy the multi-comp and be done with it. Let's see, where do we go? The Crazy J, no, for MacBooks you want also the Talk series. You want, you know, the T3, 4, 5, 6. You don't need the 7, but the T8, and then you need the Penelope 4 or Penelope PL4 or P5. They're the same size, but Where doesn't produce one of those yet. Idiots. We'll have a look under this chip too. The Wearer set is definitely that box set that I've got to try and give away. That's strictly for, well, it's for iPhones. It's just a nice little set. Sometimes I swear I collect these things just because they're cute. I'm not using my brains here. I'm just going along looking under the chips and seeing if anything comes up. Yeah, that's what I thought as well, Wayne, because otherwise I thought, well, I'm up for $600-700 for something else that meets my needs. So seeing the multi-comp come out at $250, $260, that was, it was a definite win there. Straight away I bought it. I really don't like what's happened here. This is really bad news. It may only be the camera, but it probably ties in with a whole bunch of stuff. And why is this all crooked? Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I'd love to know what the hell went down over here. I'm guessing corrosion. Man, it's got some serious fuzziness problems there. And what the hell happened here? What's going on here? Why is there flux all here? I know I didn't put that flux there, so... But it doesn't look like... So was it just a random blob of flux that was on their workbench and it just happened to get attached here, or was there a reason? I'm starting to think it probably was a random blob just sitting on the workbench and it just happened to stick here. Wayne, I agree with you on the color coding, so I'm hopefully between a bunch of us we can come up with a viable system. Because I am definitely very happy with the Wero drivers. Let's see if we even get clock out. Hey Martin Law, how's it going? Hey Andrew Hughes, did you get my email? Maybe. What was your email about? I know that sounds dumb, but you have to forgive me. And someone's just messaged me as well on Facebook. And now I can't even remember what I was going to do here. Short-term memory, folks. It's sometimes useful. Yeah, Wayne, I know what you mean. Similar things are happening here. It's a pain. I mean, even with the as soon as I put those glasses on, these this set, then things are really good. But it doesn't really bode well with using it and the microscope at the same time. Now, no, I don't have a fan on there, but I'm just looking for the green light. Yeah, Joseph, I was about to do the clock. I just wanted to see what status we're at. We're at the reboot still. Oh yeah, you were telling me what I was going to do. Thank you. Bloody hell. I'm starting to chastise people for telling me what I was asking them to tell me. Oh, squeaky. Okay, we've got our frequency. See if we've got something like 32 on here. And we do. Okay, so that's all good. And we've got 2.3. Damn. Starting to run out of easy options here. That's frustrating. Oh, spot of corrosion there. Maybe. What do you do? What do you do? Okay. You got 2 tubes of flux on the table. One looked really yellow on the last stream. Amtech. Yeah, both Amtech. One was the bad batch. Well, the batch that just seemed dodgy. Hey, Max. Yeah, the really yellow one was the dodgy one. It would turn into rock hard amber before I could even do anything. Alright, switching to programming. So what am I looking for? Bunch of caps. This one here, Q7520, what do you do? 5 years, yeah, maybe. Question is, what pins are shorting? 3, 4, 1 and 2. So 3, 4, okay, so one of the gate drives could be messed up on that. So we'll have to take that off and have a look. Thanks, Ahmed. This could be nothing, but like I said, there is a crossover there, potentially the corrosion with the gate drive, which, yeah, it's interesting. I don't normally run into issues in here, but yeah, that there I think is the gate. Yeah. But still, I wouldn't expect it to get to SO state with that. Still, we'll replace it. Sneezed. Sorry, folks. Yeah. I had to get the mowing done. There was just no way out of it. It had to be done. Yeah, sorry about that. Oh, Alex. Audio's choppy, is it? Can anyone else confirm? I might kill... No, I think I know what it was, but I don't think it was that. So, great. Oh, there we go. Yep, we're back. Yeah. Wayne, I still get my Amtech from Rossmann. A bit crackly. No. So there we go. If we have a complete dropout, I'll switch. What you're going to do is just download the latest version, unpack it, and run it from the newly unpacked folder. You don't have to do upgrades or anything. You just take the downloaded copy, unzip it, and use it from within the unzipped folder. That's it. No install required as such because it's a self-running application. Cutting out. Batteries don't even look that bad. Is that any better? Testing. 1, 2, 3. It's showing up alright on the screen. Crud. So we got yes and no. Still choppy. Is it any better? Let's see if this... Okay, this is... restart mouth 3 times and audio speech will begin. I might have had a rogue process running around in the system. So let's see if that's any better. Okay, we've got to put the lung saver back on. I think it might have been a rogue process running around the system. Just taking too many CPU cycles. Wonder if I'm getting interference or whether it's something physical. Mr. Margarita, Doctor, well, I was about to terminate the stream then, but I guess I have to stick around now for a little bit longer. Thank you very much. We'll definitely pay the internet bill for a month. Greatly, greatly appreciated. I'll be right back. All my CPUs are only running around about 30%. I'm just seeing if there's any other processors. Well, thank you very much, Margarita, Doctor. I wish I knew what was going on with... Alright, what I'll do is I will change Open Broadcast, use a slightly less aggressive rate. Oh wow, I was on the faster rate? Okay. Whew. One like two. Alright, I'm going to switch over to the... It's going to come out a little blockier, but hopefully better. Alright, let's see... Okay, let's see how it goes now. I'm on a slightly faster encoding setting, which means that it doesn't chew up quite as many CPU cycles, trying to make things more perfect. I actually didn't realize that I was on the faster setting. Faster sounds like it should be fast, but it's actually quite a CPU intensive setting. I don't know why I was on that. Oh man, I haven't got enough heat here. I'll just hot air. Hot air will make that better. Could be cable fault between... the fault would be... There's a little bit of a... So you guys reckon it's... If it is in here, it's nothing too blatantly obvious. How's that? Is that any better? if I keep it twisted, I can tape it up. Ahmed thinks it's a buffer, not the mic. When you say buffer, do you mean YouTube, or do you mean the amplifier? Well, I'll tape this up and see anyway. I'll give it the twist and then I'll tape it. We have been having strange internet issues here the last couple of nights. I'll be watching my ice cream TV and then all of a sudden it'll just drop out almost every night at around about the same time. And it's getting a wee tad frustrating. How am I supposed to watch my Grey's Anatomy? Right, so we've kind of tried to lock in the twist. I think what I'll do is I'll just buy another one of these. Although this is the version 1, they now have version 2 out, so I'll probably get myself version 2. Alright, that's right, we'll just change the MOSFET on that. No, it's not raining, it's just the fume extractor. Oh, you mean for the dropouts for the system? No, it's not the rain causing that. No change? Crud. I may have to go off there for a little bit and do a replacement. Worse now. Fantastic. Worse now, eh? Marvelous. Put it in my locket. Maybe there'll be a change of orientation to get me through. I tried to find a replacement microphone for this, but no luck. And this is still no good. We definitely have heat on the CPU. It's just dropping. I'll try another setting. Alright, I'm now on super fast, which is the second lowest. Let's see how that goes. Ping 999. Very frustrating that it's doing this anyway. I do apologise for that. Technical difficulties, which unfortunately I cannot correct at this time of the night. No, and this one, these are Bluetooth, I think, or something like that. Custom connection. Anyway, like I said, I'll just go and buy a replacement one. They're cheap enough. I think these are only about $180. So what's keeping this thing down? The CPU's trying to run. Well, at least it's getting warm. We're getting up to SO, but it's not running. Keep the string taut. Yep, that's what you got to do when you've got the tin can communication system. Thank you very much, Malcolm Turnbull, you jerk. Honestly, what they did to the NBN, they may as well just taken a crowbar to the collective business future of Australia and smash the hell out of our kneecaps. Oh, there's a spot of junk there. I didn't see you before. Not that you're probably going to cause any dramas, but... yeah, you're perfect and dandy there. This is soberingly boring. Nusacat, yes, it's politics. That's how we ended up with this crapfest of a network that should have been a world-class network. Instead, we've now got a world-class disaster that won't even pay for itself, because they had no intention of it paying for itself. They wanted just to fill the pockets of their friends. Thank you very much, Mr. Murdoch. Because Mr. Murdoch and all the rest of his cronies don't really care one bit, because they've all got the money, and when you've got the money, you don't care. So we're back. Back. Sound should be here. Where's sound? Back, alive, who knows? Pop out. What's going on here? Yep, okay, we're good. And that's precisely the crap that I was talking about. Except it usually happens later, closer towards 1 o'clock in the morning, instead of this early. So I don't know what's going on. It can't be the weather. I shouldn't have to put those caps back on that I took off. I mean, they're important, but they're not that important. The CPU can survive without those. I think I'm just going to trash this one. I'm wasting too much time on it already. At this stage, I'm looking for a smoking gun chunk of corrosion somewhere. And if I can't find one, then yeah, it's a part spin special. It's already wasted too much time. YouTube's still complaining. I guess this is going to go down as one of those dud streams that YouTube berates me over, and then will send me many suggestions on how I could do things better. Maybe you could actually be interesting, Mr. Daniels. People will then subscribe to you. In the last 30 days, your subscriptions have fallen by 30%. You need to convince more people to subscribe and explain to them why it's important that they do and to what benefits they will gain. Love YouTube. Ahmed, yeah, we checked vCore. We're at 1.69 on vCore. The current seems okay. It's just like it's stuck in a Martin, I tried a known working ROM, and it didn't do anything. Because you're right, that often is the case. But it wasn't this time. So yeah, I'm sort of getting to the point where I don't have any low-hanging fruit. Can it be a memory issue? Maybe. I'd have to stick a speaker onto it though. But maybe. Nah, but it's doing the same thing here. I've noticed that the output goes a little bit dimmer when it does that too. We'll put a speaker on it just for the heck of seeing if it is. Bug, can you get out of here? Thanks. I should check to see if reset's been, keyboard reset, whatever's been held. There's a whole bunch of things I should be checking. But laziness wins. No, this is a known good working daughter board too. That's interesting, that's gone dim on me now. No. Something's jacked up with it. And no beeps. Hey Kratos, a shame you got a bad stream though. It seems like everything's gone to hell today. I think my upstream provider is definitely not doing me any favors here. Wait, which board did I just... It was this one, wasn't it? Yeah, I did just test this one, yeah, okay. Remember then, I thought I was testing the donor board. Alright, we're throwing that one aside. Now, this one here... Oh wow, yeah, I actually ready to do this. That's funny. This was a board that came in on a machine that I had to service, and this one I actually just straight away replaced with a existing board that I had. I don't know what happened to this machine, but this is how I've ultrasonic this, and it's just a train wreck. This is why I didn't bother repairing this one. I just did a direct swap. It's like everything is... there's so many mangled things on this. And someone's already gotten at it with the hot air again. There's plenty of good corrosion everywhere. Even eating into these traces here. More corrosion. That's pretty set in, such that the ultrasonic couldn't even get all that out properly. And someone's already hacked away at the SMC. So from my perspective, this was basically a donor board. This whole area, you've got traces that have been eaten down to the veer nubs, and the veer nubs aren't even good. And that's right by your SSD. So it's not and I just realised I stole the chip off that. Oh yeah, and see how that's domed out. Goodness knows what happened to cause that. Yeah, it's a bit of a sad looking board when I took it out. And I thought, nope, you're going to become a donor. That will be your destiny. Oh yeah, and all this. Someone went a little wild with the old thermal paste. Yep. Nice way to ruin a board. YouTube's still complaining. More info close. That's really weird. I'd say there's definitely a problem with the connection at the moment. Alright, let's have a look at this board again. This is the intermittent one, I think it is. Yes, this is the intermittent one that sometimes works, sometimes does not. So we're still looking for the primary cause of this one. And thus far without success. Ooh, what's that? Oh no, how embarrassing. I need to clear away some nose stuff. That's the hay fever, I'm afraid. Ray Godlet, thank you. Oh wow, how'd you manage to get the little animation there? That's cute. How you going, Jim? You feeling better today, or still a bit rough? I guess it's all relative, isn't it? I would like to be able to get this one fixed and get it out of here. That's right, we had the corrosion around here. And up here. Half of me wants to replace that resistor. The other half of me says it's probably not at fault. I don't recall what that resistor's for again. In bed for the day. I'm sorry to hear that, Jim. I know a lot of people would be thinking, hey, what's wrong with being in bed for the day? That sounds like a nice way to spend the day, but I understand. Hey, Stuart Menzies. So what have we got here? 34, 37. 34, 37. And we're looking for a couple of stray resistors by the crystal. I think they're them there. Yep. Okay. PCH test low. Alright. It's supposed to be 10k. I have a feeling they're probably going to be fine. I can't possibly imagine that would cause it. They just pull down, so it could be anything from 1k to 1 meg and it'd probably still work. 10k on the mark. $10k on the mark. Can't blame those. Catherine, 3 months in bed? That's no good. Hopefully, Jim, when that new and exciting blue ringside toy turns up, here we'll be able to share some entertainment. You watch, we probably won't get any sort of flying critter activity for many months. That's what those... Actually, this just struck me as unusual. See how we have here... Look, there's got to be a veer under one of them. We've got this resistor going to this resistor, then going to here. It's very unusual, it would be very unusual, to just have two resistors in sequence like that with nothing going on in the middle. So there must be a veer under at least one of these. And I'll inspect that, and maybe that's our problem, that it's corroded on there or disconnected. And that top resistor end cap looks a bit dodgy if you ask me. That feels like that's flaking off. So I'm going to redo that area. Slow way couriers. Ah, we're doomed. Well, that's unusual. Yeah, it should be a divider, so that should be going off to somewhere. Question is where? Okay, programming. So it's between these two. And it should go off to this cap, so we can test that at least. It's a feedback point. Well, it seems to be working. Well, that's disappointing. I'll put on a new pair of resistors anyway. '76, 11 and 12. I'll just take them from another board. No, I just realised it's like that on all the other boards, but it was just interesting because normally you do see the veer running off from one end. Yeah, you don't normally just see this dumbbell track. There's typically more to it. Another fine case of more A than C. But I'll take it. Ahmed, maybe if you can tell me about where you're talking about, give me an actual link or something. I'm just going to scratch back some more corrosion here, just in case. That seems fine. And that seems fine between those two as well. Interesting about the audio. $31, that's about right. Interesting, why? I'm just going to double check that. While I expect the values to be a little off because of the fact they're in circuit, I wouldn't expect them to be the same. Ah, crud. So I'm just checking that resistor to make sure it is in fact the right one. So the bottom one should be 35.7. So this should now read properly 35.7, or they're close enough to it. Okay, that's fine. No, do not connect to ground like that. And this one should be 49.9, so about 50k. Yep, on the mark. Alright. Just flux it up, and touch it up. Should leave those resistor corpses there just for entertaining any future victims. It's nice having Harold around here more often. Appreciate you being around here, Harold. Like I said, don't forget to share a link to your website with all your products so that other budding MacBook repair people can save themselves a fair whack of time. So this is the 165 that we've been trying to work on the last couple of nights. Oh, sorry, the 3437. And it will intermittently work, and then not. Well, I guess that's what intermittent is, isn't it? And it's dead after the first cycle this time. Alrighty. Ah, boy. And it sits at 21 milliamp. Andre Wood, yeah, all my videos are full length, available, all the rest of it. Okay, so what would be causing this? This is where my lack of knowledge on the boot sequencing for this device is really coming to bite me in the butt. So why would it stop going through that sequence? Stop start thing. Is there an instability? Wonder if the sus power good is no good. Ah, choices. And someone's got to blow their nose again. I just realised I could just simply mute, and that would allow me to do this without tormenting you people with my horrendous bodily fluid noises. Oscilloscope could help. It could also send you down quite a rabbit hole too. I guess I'm kind of looking for something like a resistor just hanging on by a thread. Let's see, Mr. Cash for Mac, put your hand up, sir. Thank you very much. Is Mr. Cash for Mac out there? Yeah, let's reflow the SMC because why not? If you had Medusa, you could spy on the ROM a bit. Or you can do silly SMC things like now. Does this board have an ID resistor near the processor? Well, quite possibly. I haven't ever looked. I haven't even checked the schematics. Clearly the best thing to do would be throw it in a reflow oven, set it to 500 degrees, and let it bake for 3 hours. That should solve everything. Yeah, I shouldn't mock the whole rehotting thing because I actually saved a 1534 last night, well the data from it, by cooking the CPU for about 2 minutes at 200. It definitely worked. I got the machine back up and running, I was able to get the data off, and about 2 minutes after I got the data off, it crashed out with a nice blocky looking, the display started going all blocky, like a bad 1980s video game. Yeah, if you want to learn stuff, go see Rossman's videos. I'm not really a teacher or anything. I just simply go, well, this is me doing my work. Feel free to take a seat if you want, but I'm not trying to, well, it's not my aim to do any kind of teaching other than just through osmosis. Ha! Yeah. I mean, if there's some neat trick or something that I've got, and I make a video for it, fine. That's about the extent of my teachings. But I'm certainly not for tutoring people. There's some Chinese logographs. Let's see if I recognize any of them. No, and no. No, and no. That's what I hate about the tech stuff, is that they've got their own so many of their own logographs that the joy of Chinese, 45,000 plus of these different suckers, and I only know about 140 of them. Who's rich? Who's supposed to be rich? Because I'm certainly not rich. Hell, I'm fighting to get enough money to just come up for home loan at the moment. No, this is definitely Chinese. It's almost exclusively all Chinese. Japanese, I would expect, yeah, they're a little more simple. I mean, Japanese uses a lot of the Chinese logographs, but I'm pretty sure Tian Li is Chinese. Oh, Jack, right, I should be rich, yeah, I wish. That SMC's probably cooled down enough now. I've had my chances here and there to be rich, and I kind of threw them away, and sometimes for love, sometimes because of my ego, sometimes because I'm lazy. Ooh, that's interesting. That's stopped halfway through the spin. Huh. Maybe we should stick an SMC on this, because that's changed now. Let's see if it does it again the same way. That's stopped halfway through its second spin. Yeah, that's changed. I think we might have something under the SMC, maybe. Time to change it. Why not? It's only 3 minutes to midnight, so it's before midnight, therefore I am legally permitted to change the SMC. Being rich isn't everything, but it sure makes crying a lot more comfortable. And there's a certain level that I would at least like to be at, and I'm disappointed, very disappointed in myself that I'm not already at that level. I said I had my opportunities that were handed to me, and I squandered a few too many of them. I had some bad luck, but we all do. Can't blame the universe for everything. And I'm just hoping that, you know, I'll do better this time around, especially considering I'm fast hitting 50. So once you get beyond 50 in the tech world, people start to not quite pay attention to you. So soon I'm going to have to transform into some 38-year-old person, random person. Yeah, not seeing any junk under there. Well, we'll put this in a baggie. If the same fault occurs, we at least know we've got a working 3437 SMC. '59, Ed. Yeah, you're a little bit more than a decade ahead of me. Just a bit. I think the thing that I worry about most is that I'll lose my desire to try and keep up with things. I'll start becoming complacent, I'll just coast, things like that. $56 for Mr. Hook. No, I don't have kids. I don't believe in children. I have fur kids. I believe in those. But human spawn? No thanks. I'll leave that to other people to do. Not for me. Never has been. Had a few close calls. Got out by the skin of my teeth. ITM2, 50 young. Okay, it seems like we've got quite a few people here in the approaching 50 mark. That's actually quite interesting. James Robson at 19, getting started there. Stuart Menzies 38 in the midst of it. JC Denton also in the midst of it. Yeah, Wayne, I do agree. Unfortunately, like I said, I was a bit stupid, and to be fair, it sort of coincided with the .com implosion, so I lost a fair whack of money there. And opportunities, and I had to change countries. But like I said, I'm not really one for blaming events that happen, because everybody is exposed to the same sort of events usually. But the timing was certainly... I prioritise things differently, and if I was a different person, I probably would have been a lot richer, but I'm a little bit romantic, I guess. What is crawling up my leg? Get out of here. What are you? Well, at least you're not a flea. Take a ride. Oh, Tom George, you got a pre-packaged family. That's actually pretty useful. I know people sort of like look down on the whole step parent sort of thing. Well, generally. But from my perspective, it's like good. All that sort of hard work of getting the little buggers created has already been done. And if they're old enough to already be potty trained and off to school and things like that, that's a bonus. I guess that's why I like cats. They're pretty... Yeah, you got to watch over them and everything, but they do go potty themselves and they look after themselves in terms of keeping themselves entertained. At least until 4 o'clock in the morning, when they decide they want you awake and they think that your exposed little toe is an awesome thing to put their claws into and make you wake up at a great start. Maybe I was having a heart attack at the time and they saved me, I don't know. Gonzalo, thank you. £1.99. Yeah, see how bad this... Oh man, this SMC's nasty looking. This one's going to take some loving care. I guess we'll get to it. Wait, where's my real board? Oh, there it is. Stockholm's, no, I've given up on that one. That one can go to Hades. No. Aha. It's a super sticker. Oh, okay, Jan, didn't know that. Didn't even know such things existed at this point. Interesting to know. Edge bonding is a bit of a pain. There's one very messy SMC. I've still got one pad down there that's reluctant. This SMC might not be any good. See this here? I don't know if you can see. In that area there is a... It's like an ingress of liquid or separation, delamination. Let's see if I can get it to show up. You can definitely see it there. Yeah. See it's showing up. It's a bit hard for you guys to see, but see there's an ingress all in this area of something's gotten in under the layer. Now I probably could make that work, but at this point I'm not going to. At this point that's probably going to just be a dead SMC. So there's no point wasting my time on it. Get a different one. If I've got another one. What do we got here? Yeah, we got another one. I did just order another half dozen boards, so in about a year's time they'll arrive from China. I'm working on a board that's got a intermittent... Oh, you bastards. See, now that's just not nice. It would probably not be wise to use this SMC because the amount of vibration and damage being caused by the drill bit coming through here right next to the SMC, that's bound to have done some damage in there. We'll put that aside as a if we're desperate case. And hopefully we're not that desperate. Ah, jeez, now I am running out. Oh, you little scum-sucking little so-and-sos. I don't want to have to use that SMC. No. Time to... No SMC. No SMC. No SMC. No SMC. There's more SMCs in the bottom of this container due to them being knocked off randomly. That's a sad, sad life. Aha. An SMC. Joseph, I really am not sure. I am making a reasonable amount of savings, so I am happy about that. All things considered, I am doing pretty good. There's just a slight degree of panic in terms of making sure I get enough money before June comes along. It's kind of ridiculous at this point with the situation I'm in. I'm spending more money per month not having a house than I would if I had a house. And it's very frustrating. And I've been doing this for years. And you try to convince the bank, say, look, I have no trouble servicing this debt because I've been doing substantially larger amount of debt, weekly payment than what the debt calls for. And the bank's still like, yeah, no. Very frustrating dealing with banks. I know they're very risk averse, unless they're risking your money, in which case they don't give two hoots. But it is getting a little ridiculous here in Australia. Yeah, Wayne, exactly. Wayne, you've summarised it basically to the point, yes. So ideally I will come up with around about 30,000 savings before June. Ideally, which means I'm going to have to do a crap ton of MacBooks. And I'll be honest and say that it's actually the sales of Flex Boardview that are really saving my hide right now. So if you are a commercial MacBook repair person, certainly have a look at Flex Boardview. See if it can save you any time, and maybe consider a purchase. Because quite honestly, I mean, I would not like to be doing MacBook repairs without Flex Boardview anymore. I mean, Open Boardview is good, but if you're doing commercial work, then yeah, the integration makes a huge difference. Prater, yep, that's pretty much true. They don't like it. You're taking their hard-earned interest from them. Margarita Doctor, my goodness. Here's a little more for upgrading your modem and new cables. Please keep your entertainment live streams coming for as many years as possible. I will certainly do that, Margaret. Thank you very much. feeling like, ah, feeling a little overwhelmed. Thank you. That's pretty much all you can really say, isn't it now? Thank you, and try to be as emphatic about it as possible, but still not be contrived. That's the hard bit. Trying not to sound contrived. Contrived like getting a whopping great big expensive Christmas present that you really didn't want. But no, I greatly appreciate that, Marguerite Doctor. And I'll certainly keep trying to do the streams. I don't mind doing them. I enjoy just the casual gathering, as it were. I don't think I would get too serious, but who knows, with regards to YouTube production. Like Eli and whatnot, you know, where they've got a whole team. I do very much prefer this sort of casual level of, well, I'm going to do some repairs tonight, let me switch on the camera and talk to everybody on chat. Catherine hits 50 in 4 years. So you're almost the same age as me. Marguerite, do you actually do any repair work or anything like that? Because I'm more than happy to send you a license of Flex Boardview, of course. Unless you probably already have one in that case, I dare say. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Someone has a crush on Paul Daniels. That's Lewis Rossman you're thinking of. Right, Catherine, you're 1 year younger than me. Jen, YouTube's a little slow, hey? You got a question from your potted history. Wait, what? It's young James. I'm going back now, I'm scrolling back. Alright, did I miss it? Thank you, Wayne. Wayne, you already do contributions all the time. James, can you repost your question? I do apologise. I can't seem to find it when I'm scrolling back. What am I doing here? Okay, the stencil is fractionally bent. Not much. Oh, how long have I been servicing electronics? Right. Okay, we've kind of got servicing or started. I started when I was about 7 years old, I think. But to be fair, I didn't really get deeply into it. I know through primary schools, years 6 and 7, I was doing here in Australia, the Mr. Smith electronics kits. But to be fair, you know, back then I didn't truly comprehend a lot of the technical part of the electronics. It was more a case of, okay, I'm assembling things, whoop-de-doo, and I really don't know what I'm doing. Other than the fact that I can put together this electronics Lego kit, in effect, and it does what I'm expecting. And it wasn't really, around about 10 years old, I moved over to computers more, with the, you know, things like the Z80 processor and whatnot coming out. So that took up a fair bit more of my time. I still did electronics, but not as much. And it wasn't until 16 when the physics department of the school asked me to create some test equipment for them, that I really got back into electronics. And then again, it sort of went quiet, and I went back to programming again, the computers. And I would say probably in my early 30s, I really finally got back into electronics and did mostly design and manufacturing. So it's a bit of a spotted type thing. I did electronics engineering at university, so that sort of contributed as well. So yeah, a bit of a spotted career all over the thing. Damaris, thank you. 500. I never really work out what that actually is. One day I will. Let's see. Now I need to contain my balls from spraying everywhere. So I need a lipped container, which I normally have around. Where's my lipped container? Alright, we'll use an iPhone screen container instead. So one of these sort of things. The main reason is the leaded solder balls will go everywhere. And this just stops them getting on my desk, just in case they get stuck onto my arms or something like that, and they get carried around. And just by bad luck I may ingest one of them. I repair margarita machines. What is a margarita machine? I always thought you're talking about the drink margarita or something else. Noosacat. Heathkit kids, yes. They were another... We didn't really get them much here in Australia. They were a bit expensive, but we always... Oh man, these are just going everywhere. We always looked across the pond to America and saw that you guys had... there was these Heathkit kits, and some of them seemed quite interesting. Like there's robot ones and oscilloscope ones. And we're very jealous of them. And I've made a mess of this because my gloves are actually too sticky. So I have to change my gloves. What's happening is when I try to roll the balls into the SMC stencil, they are actually instead sticking to the glove fingertip. Hey Mr. Lemon. Use a cotton bud. Okay. Well, this is better. This is better. But the trouble is now I've lost quite a lot, so I'm going to have to add more. And do it again. Wish there was just a easier way to dispense them out of the bottle or the container, rather than just screaming out as if they're deranged kids on a super tall water slide or something, coming down and crashing through everything. Okay, that's much better now. See, with the dry glove that doesn't have flux all over it. Much better. Joseph, the reason why I'm using balls instead of paste is because the paste I have at the moment is a bit dodgy and I'm just not in the mood for it. It's a mood thing. And I shouldn't be using tweezers, but I should be using the scalpel. I have more consistency, I found, with this method than my paste method. Damaris, thank you. Thank you, good sir. I will see you in the next stream, I dare say. Okay, they're all deformed. Whoa, don't normally have pop-outs like that. Hopefully we can get that back in before the chill occurs. In you go. This flux, interesting, is behaving differently to the previous one, the dirty one that I had. The other flux that I had did this process very nicely. This one seems to bubble more, which is quite annoying for this particular application. Yeah, they're all down, so it's all good. Large bore syringe. Could try that. Gonzalo, actually I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. I will try that the next time, Gonzalo. Thank you for contributing that, actually. That's a good idea. Small things like that go a long way towards making life faster and easier in this industry. That's using your head. Maybe we should try that on that dud one that we had. First we'll get this sorted out though. But I really like the idea. Yep, someone got the plastic a little warm. Well, they look good. Ah, g'day RDP, welcome. Oh wait, sorry, I mean Frank. And I wasn't being sarcastic or anything there, I just realised that you have requested to be called Frank. I'll do my best to remember and honour that. Oh crikey, what did I just hit then? Yes, work smart, not hard. I absolutely concur. Or work hard at being smart. Alright, let's get this one down. Hopefully we have a win with the board actually functioning. dancing time. It's weird, they kind of moved, but it didn't really. There we go. It tried to trick me to stop heating it earlier, but it was a lie. And now it's good. Because what happened is it did that first shift and it felt like it was actually in and starting to dance, but it wasn't truly there, because when I tried to get the nozzle to the hot air to make it jump after a couple of seconds, it still wasn't jumping. So that's why I stayed on the heat until it started moving around again. What can often happen is that you get some balls that slide in and it's moving on those couple of balls and they are fluid, but then all of a sudden all of them make contact and then the chip just freezes in place again and you got to wait for it to become liquid once more. Paul's there to correct me to make sure I got it the right way around. Thank you very much, Paul. I'm never going to live that down now, am I? I am Six Skills, calling it as all this effort and no win. Alright, well, let's see, wait. How long has that taken? It's only half an hour. Mind you, we were busy doing other things. Still, Mr. Rossman's patented rapid cool bollocks. Actually, he doesn't do it this way anymore, does he? He just sticks it up. My fan's bigger than his fan. Making you blue. What did I do to you to make you blue? I'm kind of curious now. Right, so here we go. Yeah, any bonus parts? Yeah. And that's a no-win. Back to 21 milliamp. Bugger. What is going on? What is unique about that second spin phase? And what is special about 21 milliamp? Oh well, we tried. That's interesting, Joseph. Maybe it was just they were stuffing around with the internet out there and that was part of the problem. Alright, let's try this technique of putting a ball in the corner of each and then putting the stencil down. Be very happy if this works. Yeah, Six Skills, that's all your fault, clearly. Okay, we want a much lower okay, 420 and 35. Obviously the technique itself requires a bit of initial practice. I've probably got the wrong tweezers for this, but I should just put the ball down and then try and Come on. Ugh. Yep, wrong tweezers for this because these tweezers don't let go of balls. Okay, let's try that again. That ball is not attached. It's floating there. It's not actually attached. Oh, and see that? We just got the heat too close and that popped. That's okay, this is just a tester. We popcorn the SMC. And that... How is that still hot? Yes, stubborn balls. That's okay. We'll try a few times with some dead SMCs and I'm sure we'll get the hang of it. So I do like the idea of the technique, because anything that saves me having to use tape I'm pretty happy with. Tape always feels like such a hack. Yeah, you could probably do with it. The trouble with the iron is that the iron will tend to absorb the balls, and it helps if pull actually aligns it correctly. Yeah, that's got a pretty good chance of working. The stencil itself is actually a bit bent. Okay. Looks like I'm going to buy some more 35.35mm balls. I'm running out. At least this time, now that I know what size I want, I can just order a huge container of them. Get away, bug. Damn bugs. Okay, let's get our knife, because the knife works 100 times better than tweezers for this sort of thing. Most times. We're all good? No, we've got one down there. Okay, I think we're all good now. Yeah, Joseph, I saw that he mentioned use cotton, but I'm making that a personal call, and I prefer to use my fingertip. The main problem I have with the cotton buds is that the balls get caught up in them too much, at least the ones I have. Okay, I just want to get these to deform stage, like that. And then a small amount of flux. Yeah, as soon as I hit these with This flux definitely is more volatile, it seems. In terms of it seems to gas out more. Lo and behold, there actually is a reason to use different fluxes for different purposes. Shocking news. But overall, definitely this corner ball technique is a winner. Didn't have to use tape, and it looks good. Low heat threshold flux, yeah. Hitu Gaming, why are you watching this? It does look like it needs to have another reflow on it. Damn it. But yeah, I can see myself changing over to this. We do have one stray ball there. I feel like actually a lot of them haven't properly sunk down yet, but that's probably my fault. I probably didn't really give it enough heat. You can see these ones around the middle here, they're kind of standing a little prouder than the rest. Okay, I can't go too much further down on air. I'm down to 15 litres per minute at the moment. It's pretty much the bottom end of it. Yeah, so they've just got to sit down a bit more. And we had a few merges up here. Anyway, the technique works. It's just a case of I've got to do better with my end of it. Just gotta work out my parameters. Yeah, looks like I just need more flux. Anyway, we had a merging here of a couple of balls, but that's not a problem. That's not what we're worried about. What we wanted to see was, would this stencil hold with the two corner balls, and it does. So yeah, that's got my good to go. The other thing we didn't do is we didn't actually clean the SMC properly, so most of those balls probably didn't have much of a chance to stick. So it's a win, even if it looks really shoddy. Unfortunately, we didn't have a win with this board, or any of them really tonight, did we? James Robson, copyright. Oh, you mean for like the red and green ink, so that you know which ones, so you don't go long screw damaging. It just gives you that little bit of extra confidence, so that you know you're not going to end up with a more expensive job at the end of the day. Alright, so that's still a dead board, unfortunately. Alright, time for me to wrap up. So, yep. Another moderately unsuccessful night in terms of board repairs. It's been pretty good on the chat. Good to catch up for a lot of people. Hitu Gaming was timed out. What did Hitu Gaming do this time? Let's see. Let's do a bit of cleanup. I really do have to find a better way of managing those solder balls. That is the only big downside for me with using solder balls, is the environmental issues of all those solder balls getting everywhere. Still, we've got 1 million tons of lead in the sea. Not that we have to add to it. Alright. I think that's it. Time to take the gloves off, time to get some ice cream, have a shower, watch some TV, try to get some sleep. Pardon me. And what have we got here? Can you show us your fume extractor setup? Might have to be another day because I've got to have to take the camera off and whatnot. Rescue, that's okay. Well, didn't get anything fixed anyway, so... But we got a new technique, so I'm happy about that. As long as I learned something, I'm good. Alrighty. Alright, that's it. Thank you everybody for sticking around. It was like 2 and a bit hours. I appreciate it. And thank you, Margarita Machine, for those substantial contributions and all the other contributions that people have made. Not normally what I chase in these streams, but I certainly am always very appreciative of when it happens. Now I'm starting to sound a bit weird, so I think it's definitely time to sign off and let the bunyips drag me off into the swamps. See, I can't even remember what we call them here in Australia now. Billabongs. That's it. Alright, you'll take care. I'll see you tomorrow, maybe.